Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles Postgame Show, live from the Xfinity Studio and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. The Eagles season is over, and it ended in an appropriate way. They lost this game pretty much the way that they played all season long. We're going to talk about all of it, and we're going to give you a chance to sound off on the things that you are angry about, the things that you are sad about, maybe somewhere underneath the things that you're hopeful about, but maybe not tonight. We're going to hear from E.J. Smith live at the link after he talks to the players in the post-game locker room. Fran Duffy is going to join us to break it all down from a film perspective. But we start with Vinny Curry, Super Bowl champion, and Jamie Lynch. I'm Wulf, by the way. We start with our initial takeaways presented by First Trust, the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. Vinny, I know it hurts. What's your big takeaway?
We can't. We've been saying this all year, and it came back to bite us. You can't let good football teams stick around. When you got the chance to stick a fork in them, you got to stick a fork in them. Go ahead, Jamie.
It's going to take a lot for me not to curse this post-game show, but I am absolutely disgusted with this offense. That's the most expensive offense in the entire NFL. You have elite skill position players all over the place, and you coached that game like you thought 13 points was going to be good enough to win you a game. That was absolutely pathetic. Kevin Patullo, if I was the owner of the team, wouldn't last 2 hours to remain as offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Change is needed because that can never happen again. That was cowardice football. That was scared football. That was unimaginative football. That was absolutely disgusting offensive performance by your Philadelphia Eagles today, and I want to puke. I want to absolutely vomit on our set right now. That was disgusting.
I mean, that might go viral at least if you vomit. But.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't pulled the trigger in a while. Maybe I'm due for one.
Listen, I get the anger. To me, a loss like this is more sad, and the feeling at the end of a season, Vinny, because you're coming off a Super Bowl, you get a chance to maybe give it a fighting shot to repeat. You have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and this team lost in exactly the same way we saw them play all season long. On that point, there's something kind of reassuring that we stop pretending that you can just flip a switch. All of the things that plagued them all season long plagued them in this game. They scored 6 points in the second half, just like they've sucked in the second half all season long. The season ends on a final play that becomes the final play because they're too late getting to the line of scrimmage and they have to call a timeout, waste a timeout that ensures that they don't get the ball back. They are too insistent on running the ball all season long. How many times in this game did they run the ball on 2nd and 10 and drive you absolutely insane? And so, yes, I think change is coming. I think Jeffrey Lurie is going to be appropriately angry about the underperformance of the offense. But to me, this is like you had this Super Bowl caliber roster together and you wasted away this opportunity. And who knows what comes next, because there is going to be change, maybe in the coaching staff, certainly in the locker room to some degree. And now you wonder, is this window when the Eagles were the best team in football for 2 seasons in a row, is this window shut? And that is the lament that will follow Eagles fans forever about this team and how underperformed they were all season long on offense.
It was really set up for us. You win this game, you go to Chicago. We beat Chicago. It was set up for us, bro.
It's brutal. Well, that'll do it for the initial takeaways presented by First Trust Bank. Let's unpack that very final possession, guys. Because listen, the entire game they are pounding their head into the concrete wall trying to run the ball. Finally, they move the ball because they have to throw the ball. They get it into the shadow of the red zone, and again, probably something that's kind of apropos that the season ends just on the shadow of the red zone, because if they're in the red zone, they're good. If they're out of the red zone, they suck. And
they're at the 21.
They're at the yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're at the 21. Yeah, they get to 1st and 10 from the 20. So technically, I guess they did get to the end zone. But 1st and 10, Jalen Hurts takes that little 1-yard sack. Okay, fine. They let the clock run. And you know what? I know that you want to not leave the Niners with time, but I did feel like they were being a little bit lazy there.
Yes.
And worrying about that too much, which is, again, a thing that Nick Sirianni has done all season long, worry too much about giving the ball back. Then Jalen on 2nd and 11 this looked like a bad play.
He bailed the pocket.
It felt like he had a pocket. And even in that scenario, taking a sack is not the worst thing in the world. It's almost worse to just throw the ball away, which he does. 3rd and 11, Devontae, I guess you call that a drop, but it was not a perfect throw from Jalen. There's also the drop from A.J. Brown earlier in the drive. And then 4th and 11, you have to waste a timeout, which is awful process. And then I don't know what that play was on 4th and 11, and it has no chance, and it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, this offense just sucks. There's nothing, you watch the Niners all game long, and they're down. George Kittle's out. Christian McCaffrey's the only one that they got left. They got no Pearsall. And guess what? Guys are getting schemed open regularly. Schemed open. These are Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback, is burning people and getting open. And you see what a real offense looks like in today's NFL. And then you see the Eagles offense. And every single guy that caught the ball was either in traffic or somebody was hanging over their back. And if they are led properly, there's no opportunities for yak on a lot of these plays unless it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Just an absolutely dog bleep offense that I can't wait to never watch that iteration of the Eagles offense ever again. That might be my least favorite Eagles offense I've ever seen. And I lived through Nay Brown and Todd Pinkston. Think about that.
I do agree that it is hard.
Awful.
It is hard to look at this game and the result of this game and not think that the difference was coaching.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Because
sure.
the talent disparity of the players on the field in this game was significant.
Yeah.
And, they, as you say, they scheme open. They pull the, Jawan Jennings wide receiver pass to Christian McCaffrey.
What is Reed Blankenship doing on that play?
Great. This offense against the worst defense in the playoffs, a Niners defense that has been terrible all season long, ever since Nick Bosa and Fred Warner went down, that is dead last in the league in sack rate. They're just running the ball right into them, and they're taking those losses. I know it was windy. You got to worry about that. That's fine. And you do wonder if some of the repercussion of this will knock down the hubris of the way that they coach on offense, because it's all about, as long as we protect the ball, we will win the game. Guess what? You won the turnover battle 2-0, and you're going home. The season is over because all you wanted to do was run the ball on 2nd and 10, not throw the ball downfield, not take advantage of the fact that you have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert against linebackers who were on the street a month ago, mediocre secondary. It's really bad. And it is overall, bottom line, it is sad. It is sad for Eagles fans that you are now staring down the very long offseason because the offense, I cannot remember a unit that underperformed more than this one, and that will be the epitaph on their season.
There's a small sliver of hope, Vinny, and I don't have to talk myself into next weekend. This is the weekend that the offense figures it out. I don't have to do that anymore.
Well, that's
I'm
exactly
free.
right.
You want to hear something crazy though? But remember we were talking during the watch along. Every time the Eagles had to score, we would get into the red zone.
Exactly.
So
That's exactly right.
That's
Vinny.
the frustrating part.
Yeah,
Right. Every time they tried to score, they were able to move the ball.
Yes.
Every time they tried
Just
to
do that all the time.
Dominate time of possession.
Can we
they had
have
to
a
punt the
fake
ball away.
scoreboard that Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni look at where they're just down 10 points all game? Can we trick this? AI is everywhere. Can you get an AI fake scoreboard in front of them so they think they're losing?
Let's not go that far.
Pathetic.
All right. Well, we need to give everybody here.
Don't even get me started on Jake Elliott.
We need to give everybody here a chance to sound off. So let's get to the super chats because I know that there are plenty.
Super chat.
Reverma. Why didn't Lurie let Nick hire a first-year play caller to lead a defending? Why did he let Nick hire a first-year play caller to lead the defending Super Bowl?
Because with success comes hand, right? It's kind of that simple.
It's also late in the hiring process. There's fewer options, all of that. We will see what happens here.
Pring! Mike McDaniel, hi. How are you? Are you out doing the interview tour right now? You want to swing by for an OC position?
Yeah, it's just for me. It's just.
This is the kind of game. Now listen, the defense giving up 23 points, not
That
ideal.
shocks me a little bit. That does.
Despite also getting 2 turnovers.
They did a little tired, bro. But you were right.
They were gas in the fourth quarter.
It is funny that we got an answer to the theoretical question we spent all week doing, which is how many points would you take to guarantee? 19 did not get it done. Turns out it needed to be 24.
I was always saying, if you can just score 24 or more, 24 points.
24 will do it. This could go a lot of different ways with the coaching staff. Now, my thought heading into the playoffs was that if they lost in the first round and the offense was bad, they probably would make a change at offensive coordinator. And if they got to the NFC Championship game, they probably wouldn't. And anything in between, who knows? After that game, you wonder like how much goes into Nick wanting to protect Patullo, how contentious those discussions get. I think there's a chance that we don't have an answer on this front for 72 hours or something like
Real quick, I agree with you. That's probably the proper way to go about things. But right now, with the current state of the NFL and nearly 30% of the teams not having a head coach and the trickle-down effect of the presumed head coaches, you better not drag your feet. This is a pretty easy decision to make. And I know people's jobs are on the line, and it's not something, great to yell and scream about. But, you can't waste a lot of time now. Because if there's good candidates out there, they're going to be gobbled up real quick.
The Eagles played the game that Nick Sirianni wants to play. They played exactly his kind of game. They controlled the time of possession. They won the turnover battle. And they're going home, and the season's over. SRG, Super Chat. Eagles lose both games after PHLY changes the show intro.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
We're on the hot
I do think this means no more watch-alongs.
Oh.
I do think that.
Actually, our watch-along record is not great. I mean, the triple header night with the Flyers, Sixers, and Eagles was like one of the worst all-time nights ever.
That's true. Zane Petney. I will get into character here. Fire Nick and KP. Nick picked KP and his decision to play conservative, and KP is just a bum. Everybody's allowed to feel how they feel. Idiot Sandwich. When you play not to lose, you will never win. FKP, he said.
That's basically, if you want to surmise it.
Scare money, don't make money.
Yep. Like they played not to win the game.
I don't remember who said this. I saw it on social media, but it feels very true, which is even if the Eagles weren't the worst offense in football this year, it felt like they tried their hardest to go out of their way to be bad.
It did feel like that.
It really took a lot of effort for them to be as bad on offense as they were. Patrick Higgins. We won the turnover battle. Isn't that what really matters, according to Nick? There you go.
I mean, he shows slides during the team meetings about
Davella. Nick either fires Patullo immediately or leave with him.
Damn.
Justin, just like Doug had Press Taylor, Sirianni has Patullo. I think lots of people are drawing those comparisons. Just Giroux. Nick equals Doug P 2.0. Please let him go and get Harb. Ooh. You want John Harbaugh? Ooh.
I don't think he's an OC type, or are they saying his head coach? Did he say
They're
fired?
saying replacing Nick. Yeah, that's it.
I think Harbaugh is a great coach to hire if you're trying to establish a culture and build something from the scraps. I don't think where the Eagles currently are, maybe it makes the most sense, but a team out there that's in shambles, Harbaugh is a good hire.
Yeah, like the Raiders or something.
Yeah, like the Raiders or the Giants, or maybe not the Giants because they're kind of ascending, but Jets, the Jets.
I listen. If you really want to be squint for a silver lining, I do think that the big picture good thing about this loss for the Eagles is that they can no longer pretend who they
can't
were.
deny.
They can't if they had lost next week in Chicago, okay, tough loss, tough place to play. You squint and think, okay, we were probably as good as we thought we were. We just any given Sunday. This game. They cannot lie to themselves about how just above average this team was all year long. This team was never good. They didn't put together one complete game against a good opponent all season long. They had a very difficult schedule. They beat good teams, but it was not some magic elixir that they had. They had a really good defense and an offense that absolutely underperformed. And as we talked about earlier this season, the only other times under Jeffrey Lurie's ownership that they have had an offense this bad that was below average in every category, they fired all the coaches.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's what's going to happen with Nick Sirianni, but it tells you how Jeffrey Lurie is going to feel about it, especially given the investment that he's had with this group.
Well, Vinny, you know Jeffrey better than any of us, but I know the one thing he hates is his team being talked about in the national media landscape as bad. And when you have the most expensive offense on paper, Vinny, and you put up that performance, guess what? The chatter's not going to be pleasant about your Philadelphia Eagles.
Mr. Lurie, he competitive. That's one competitive ass owner. He's super competitive, and all the guys know he's competitive. The guys out there was competitive. You could even see a little bit of body language of what was being called.
What did you think about the AJ Nick thing?
That's all passion, bro. But it's one of those just the game of inches. So they like to say, you catch that ball. I don't even think we talking like this. Because that was crazy. I'm interested to see what comes out of that this offseason. But
I mean, listen, there's a real chance that you just watched AJ Brown's last game as an Eagle.
I'd be shocked if I see AJ Brown next year. I mean, that's just my gut.
I just thought he brought that spark to the team.
I love AJ Brown.
That Eagle receiver fireness.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's probably the best Eagles wide receiver I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to see AJ Brown gone, but it feels like this is headed for a very bad path this offseason.
All right, back to the super chats.
Unless that changes getting rid of Kevin Patullo, then that's a positive.
We've got Steve Cleff, who says, thanks to everyone at PHLY, hosts, guests, and sickos for making a frustrating season bearable. See you for free agency season. Thank you, Steve. And thank you to the sickos for spending your anger and misery with us.
I feel like the
misery
Sickos
loves company, right?
The Sickos is like Hulkamaniacs. That's pretty cool.
You need somebody you needed you to get hulked up right now. Pat Phoenix. Thank God Nick opted to kick that PAT up 12-7. This was a big one for you, Jamie, instead of going for 2 in what ultimately ended up being a 4-point game. Anyway, thanks for everything this year, fellas.
I asked you during the watch along, do you go for 2 here? Because my gut was absolutely go for 2. Now, I know the thinking bow counter me is you don't chase points that early because it was like right around the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter.
Yeah.
So I know like the real thought
Second
out there is don't chase points this early. Just take the extra point. But to me, when as soon as you miss an extra point, you're always playing the numbers game for the rest of the game. At some point, it's going to come into play. Now, you can't project ahead and predict what the Niners are going to do, and you don't know it's going to be a 3-point game. But as soon as you miss the point, that thought has to enter your head that this can eventually be a 3-point game and be decided. And that 4th and 11 to end the game, you could have kicked a field goal to send it to overtime.
I don't agree. I think there were a lot of different points in this game where it would have mattered to have the extra point than the one that they didn't have. Like if the Niners don't miss that extra point at the end of the game,
sure,
it doesn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered. And if the Eagles were able to score a touchdown at the end of this game and then give the ball back to the Niners, if they had gone for 2 and not gotten it, they would have lost on a field goal instead of going
you can
overtime.
do if my
which is
aunt
exactly
was
why
my
you
uncle.
don't do it. Yeah.
But to me, I just go for 2 there because
I think there are a million things to get on Nick about, including in the game management of this game.
I'm more pissed at Jake than I am Nick. Like, I think that decision you can debate all day until you're blue in the face. Jake Elliott missing his 6th career point after touchdown in the playoffs.
Crazy.
That's an absolute backbreaker because we could be watching overtime football right now if he makes a point after. That's just brutal.
Junk Drawer says, scared money don't make money. We agree. Corey Cito, Red Zone Patullo didn't even work in the end. Although they did, I guess because they got to the 20. At this time, it didn't work. Howie and Lurie, says Ed Wright, have now wasted 3 seasons since 2018 on first-time OC friends of head coaches. They can't keep doing this. That's tough. I mean, there are times when you don't really have other options, and you do owe it, like the head coach has earned some equity. But I think you are probably right that at this point now, if they are lucky enough to get in a position like that again, they will probably not do the same thing.
All right, Vinny, you speak locker room very well.
Uh-huh.
You speak locker room and media very well. A.J. Brown just went around the locker room, hugged a bunch of his teammates, and bounced. Declined to speak to the media.
And it's possible that's the last we've heard of him. He did not talk this week, has not talked over the past month and a half.
He's gone.
the Eagles will have a locker room clear out. Usually that's tomorrow. Usually it's the day after the season is over. We'll see if he talks then.
Vinny, what does your gut say about that?
Yo, man, Diehards, I'm almost ready to go down in front of the NovaCare with my 7-Eleven sign. Please don't go.
Yeah.
That feels bad.
Yeah. I
Thank you, Kim Chanel, for sending that over to me.
that hurt. That one hurts.
That's what's it is sad.
It should. Why can't we just ever have nice things for prolonged periods of time?
Even because let me tell you,
you didn't win the Super Bowl.
Well, no, but I'm saying like AJ Brown should finish his career, his prime
think about
as an
this.
Eagle.
Even with KP calling the offense, who is better than AJ Brown at receiver? Still in the league.
Junk drawer. Oh, we already got that one. Alex Schlesinger. Is Nick on the hot seat? Love y'all.
I don't think so.
I think I don't think Nick himself is on the hot seat unless he chooses to put himself on the hot seat, if that makes sense.
Yes, if he chooses the Doug Peterson path.
I'm about to
Yes.
say, I've seen this episode before, though.
Yes, exactly.
I've seen this episode before.
If Howie and Jeffrey come to him with specific plans that he disagrees with, and he's willing to step in front of the sword, I think that is a possibility.
So I would assume, Bo, and you know the inner workings better than I, that, I mean, Kevin Patullo, like, I don't think that's even on the table, him returning. But I would assume it is, hey, new OC's coming, we get to pick it, not you. Do you think that's true?
I think that would probably be the message, yes.
That's a hard
hard pill to
sell,
swallow.
dude.
He's the CEO coach.
Nick is very proud. He's very proud of the fact that he's got the best record
appearances,
of
5
like
years,
any head coach. It's
Dude,
crazy.
his resume is nasty,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
But he's not going to have say over who his next OC is.
But think about this, okay? And if you let him go, he'd be the hottest thing smoking since.
Oh, I'm not
Whitney
so sure.
Houston
I
now.
agree.
Yeah, I'm actually very...
You think if Nick Sirianni chooses to leave, that he would be a more attractive head coach candidate than John Harbaugh?
Yes, we saw that when Doug left here.
So the big three...
That thing was I mean, they threw everything at him besides that big ass yacht you keep seeing.
I
on
think he would get a
Instagram.
job. I do.
I do think he would get a
crazy.
job, but the big three would be Stefanski, Harbaugh, and Sirianni, right?
No, sure. I think definitely. Huh?
I mean, Stefanski's a two-time coach of the year.
what's that?
Harbaugh's a winner. He's won once in 18 years in Baltimore.
We talk about went to the dance 2 times in 5 years.
But the problem with being the CEO coach and having an all-star roster is I think some of that credit doesn't always find its way to you. You have to fight for that
Jamie
credit.
just dropped the mic on me, y'all, when he said, "Yeah, that roster is crazy."
Yeah, the roster is insanely talented.
Yeah, and I think if you're another now, there are so many teams desperate that
Sure.
I think he would find a place. But the question you would ask yourself is, why would the Eagles move on from this guy? Right? Like that is a well-run organization. Why would they be willing to move on?
If you just want to move on from the CEO coach. I don't think this is a real scenario. I think it's only if Nick says, no, we're not moving. I'm not moving on from KP. If we're a joint package, you fire us together.
Philly Raj, not happy with saying this, but it's a relief. I haven't enjoyed the coaching, the strategy, the scheme, the lack of innovation all year. Is today enough to make serious changes to the offense? It's what we've been talking about. I don't think the offense. I mean, the offense underperformed to such a ridiculous degree that they cannot pretend like they have a lot of work to do. My question to you guys, though, is the flip side. How disappointed are you in the performance of the defense?
It's hard to say because I feel like every time you blinked or sat down or ate a wing, they was on the field.
Yeah.
I'm floored, honestly.
Think about it. They rushed the passer. I thought they did well at rushing the passer. They got 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he wiggled out a lot from the
Crazy.
a lot of close. I thought N'Kobe had like an okay game. Zach Bond,
He's pretty quiet. Yeah.
Pretty quiet. Like Zach Bond, I don't feel like we heard from much. I thought Reed Blankenship had maybe his worst game we've seen in a long time.
I agree.
Cooper,
I thought that the penalty on the final drive, I thought that was a fair call.
That was fair. I wasn't upset about that one. Cooper played okay. Yeah. Quinyon got toasted on the first drive, and then
really impressive bounce back.
Yeah, and then locked down after that. But I'm pretty floored that the defense allowed 23 points to the Niners, especially after losing George Kittle, and like CMC had a good game, but not like a, we
will remember their final 3 drives were a 5-play, 67-yard touchdown drive, which included the trick play, then Quinyon getting an interception, and then a 10-play, 61-yard touchdown drive.
And the one that's probably I'm going to wake up tomorrow and the first thought I'm going to have is that Cam Jurgens penalty.
On the 2nd and 10, Jalen Hurts they finally call the quarterback draw. That's a bad job.
That was a ticky-tack one.
I thought it was ticky-tack, but I also...
By definition,
he shouldn't have been doing that.
He had a bad game.
Yes.
He had a bad season.
Yes.
And he's a Pro Bowler.
Yes. Yeah. Mustang CB20. Just a nice donation. Go Birds. Dear Jamie, your opening monologue was on point. Nothing more to say. It's awful. That said, love the entire all PHLY staff. Thanks for an awesome season. Fire Patullo, no other choice. If not, we riot.
You don't see any scenario where they try to not fire him, right?
I could see it.
I don't see fire.
Yeah, I can absolutely see it.
I see demoting.
I can. Well, it's not a demotion. It's a bring in somebody else above him,
Does it
I think that
he
is
remain entitled?
I think that is absolutely possible that he remains as offensive coordinator, but
a Frank Reich type. I'm not using him.
Frank Reich comes in as senior offensive consultant or whatever it is. That's definitely possible.
Jeffrey, Howie, I know you care about PR and how the town will react to things. If you do that, it will be a disaster.
I honestly, I think that would be unkind to Kevin Patullo.
Same.
I think it would be putting him in a no-win situation.
Absolutely.
Setting him up to fail.
Because if the offense is successful next year, they go, oh, what's the difference? It's Frank Reich or whoever it was is offense anyway. So all he is keeping a job title.
I don't think I've been consistent in saying I do not think that Kevin Patullo is the only person responsible for this.
Of course not.
Terrible offense, but I do think that this, as currently structured, it's untenable.
Nick Sirianni has plenty of blame in this offense.
Yeah.
He picked Kevin Patullo. He influenced Kevin Patullo. They came up together. This is their offensive brain baby.
Andrew O'Rourke with a very funny super chat says, Nick getting fired is my Super Bowl, and we're still in the mix, baby. Matthew Greenwood. Game on the line. What was that 4th down call? Truly, to have to waste that timeout, thereby guaranteeing you will not get the ball back if you don't convert on 4th down, and then to come out of the timeout and call that is really bad. Matthew then says, get AJ and Devontae out of the way. If AJ wanted to crash out, why not over that? Pizoidis took 57 minutes to attack the middle against a team that is missing 4 linebackers. Amen. Multiple 2nd, 3rd, and long runs. Shame Lurie and Howie allowed another Nick Nepo hire to tank a talented team they built. Jabel, did Big Dom and AJ have the same number of catches?
No, AJ actually outcaught him by 2, I think.
Can't scream at the head coach when you drop 3 catches in the playoffs. Dan Baxter. In hindsight, those kids were right to egg his house. Kenneth Bush. Any competent offense wins the game with 2 interceptions in the bag. Simply terrible offensive scheming. Darwood. Fire KP. Kick Jake Elliott. Trade AJ. Draft offensive line.
I mean, that's another big elephant in the room here is Lane's probably going to need surgery.
Yeah.
And does
half
he...
the season next year, huh?
Really?
Right? I'm asking you.
I think he could be ready for the season.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm just hoping we didn't see the last game Lane Johnson ever played.
Yeah, I hope so too.
He's a warrior.
I don't think
I think he's back one more.
I would be surprised if he goes out like that.
It's the same.
He coming back for the for the Kobe type run.
One more, I think. But yeah, I mean, they needed to draft offensive line this year.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
they didn't. And that's a conversation for another day. Jahan Campbell's a very good player. He didn't play a single snap tonight. And meanwhile, they had to play a backup at right tackle. They could have used a first-round draft pick on the offensive line.
Man, Ben, our social media director, just sent me a tweet that's painful. Phillip Rivers cooked this defense like 3 weeks ago.
That is his Super Bowl. Ben
It certainly is. But a 44-year-old man off the street cooked that same defense.
Yeah.
And the defense actually got worse by the time the Eagles played it. This passing attack for the Eagles offense makes me just like literally sick to my stomach how bad it is. There's no timing. There's no throwing guys open. There's no good play calls at good times. Everything about it is just, I can't wait to see a new Eagles offense.
It's like what Bo was saying. Every time they drop back to throw the ball, though, it was good things happening. It was good things
If
happening.
they came out in attack mode, shame on us
Why
all week long for being like, okay, this is the week they're going to do something different.
I'm so happy.
I believe that they've been waiting for the playoffs to unveil who they really are.
Well, one
Jalen's
drive.
going to run. They're going to be aggressive against this really bad defense. This is it.
They did
Shame.
one
What a
thing.
moron I was.
They did one thing that was different. One thing. A tight end rush.
They did.
right.
Dallas
Right.
Goedert.
That's right.
Let's hang our hat on that. First tight end ever with a rushing
One
touchdown
thing.
in NFL
Hang the
history.
banner.
Two pieces of history were made today.
Scott Gallupo doubles down with us. He says they lost in exactly the way they needed to. They left no doubt about why. I'm actually relieved it's over. I don't think that is a unique sentiment. I think that there are lots of people who feel that way. All right. More super chats to get to. We're going to hear from E.J. Smith after he talks to all of the guys in the locker room and gathers the sadness. Vinny, I do want to ask you about that because there is always something so surprisingly finite about a playoff loss where you are expecting to go on and all of a sudden just like that, this is the last time you're ever going to be with these guys again. We'll unpack that. But on the other side, we're going to talk to Fran Duffy about what he saw in this game. And I think that he is actually very happy that he doesn't have to watch this offense ever again. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream over 780,000 events each year with early payout offers across the NBA and NHL. Listen, you watched the playoff game last night between the Packers and the Bears. If you had bet on the Packers to win, you would have still got paid out. Because with Bet365's early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. All you got to do is download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Here's the breaking news. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The other day I went out, I was starving, dropped the girls off to school, and I said, what do I need right now? I need a Sizzly. And I went to my local Wawa because I pass about 6 of them on the way to work. And I got myself a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, a hash brown, and a large iced coffee, all for $5. It's the $5 breakfast big deal, and it's an absolute no-brainer. You know, they got the coffee you want right there. Sometimes I put the hash brown on top of the sandwich. It's a real guilty pleasure of mine, but it hits every single time. The sausage and biscuit is a go-to of mine. The pork roll, egg, and cheese, they just don't miss. $5, you're in and you're out, and you've got enough fuel to actually focus on the day ahead and what you have coming up. From 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day, it's nice to know that the $5 big breakfast deal at Wawa is there for you. Coffee, hash brown, Sizzly. What else could you look for? A little bit of consistency, same order, same spot. Gotta have Wawa.
Back on the PHLY Eagles post-game show. The Eagles season is over.
Ugh.
What do we do now? Well, we bring in our friend Fran Duffy on the Ashley Fan Cave, Fran's film room. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the Franimal.
Fran, I guess their draft position improved.
Well, everyone was upset with me, and I had them picking 23rd in my mock draft this week, and they're picking the 23rd.
Take a whiff, baby.
I also had them taking a wide receiver in the draft. So
Yes, a great name too.
All right, we're gonna get to some of the snaps, but let's just start. Your general thoughts, your takeaways from watching that game. I know that you're excited that you don't have to watch this offense ever again.
You know, the only thing that was popping in my head as we're watching, and me and my family were watching the game, and they get the ball back, and it's just under 3 minutes left, and they've got all their timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. And I'm like, man, it's a good thing that they've got all of that experience running a 2-minute drill at the end of the half. They can fall back on from the season. All those opportunities they had that, it was like, oh yeah, we don't need to run the 2-minute drill. We're good. We do it in practice. Oh, we don't need to do this. And you had this was the opportunity. You had the chance to do it, and you get down in the strike zone. You're in the fringe area. You're inside the 35-yard line, and you take that sack, and they're just sitting on their timeouts. And it's like, yeah, maybe call a timeout. You don't need. It's not just for stopping the clock.
Right. Regroup.
There are other reasons you could call a timeout, just to catch your breath, take a breather. Hey, let's get to the sideline. Let's have a quick powwow before we go back out. Let's take a breather. The offense was completely unsettled the moment the opening script was over. They got out of that opening script and everything, and you could hear it in Brady's voice throughout the course of the broadcast, where he's like, yeah, like a lot of pointing around pre-snap, a lot of discussion pre-snap. They just completely out of sorts, and it continued into the 2-minute drill, and they didn't go out and they didn't go out and execute. And the second half was terrible. You had 4 3-and-outs and 5 drives.
Ugh.
You had 33 yards rushing from Saquon Barkley in the second half. It was just over 3 yards a carry. You had 9 for 19 passing from Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, but more of the same. It's what we've seen all season long from that side of the ball.
You're so right about the what happened after that sack. It's 1st and 10 at the 20, and they take that sack, and it was so pitch perfect to the hubris that they play with. It was just, oh, we got this. No big deal. We'll just do that. No, you won't. Be a grown-up. Take a timeout. Like, figure yourself out. That's why you saved them. And then, if you're not going to take it there, you certainly can't be wasting it on 4th down when you all of a sudden are now in a true do-or-die situation. And I thought, we said it on the watch-along, when they give up the touchdown to go down 23-19, fine, good. Go win the game. This is what it's all about. You want to be the myth-making team that you know how to win when it matters most. We're the big bad guys. It's 2:50 left. You got 3 timeouts. That is nothing. Did you watch the other games this weekend? Every other offense that played this weekend would have gone down the field and scored a touchdown. Every single one.
Offense did go out and do it.
Yes. So go do it.
Yeah, every single offense that had the ball in the and we're talking, a couple games, but going into this one, the team that was down and had the ball at the 2-minute drill, at the 2-minute warning, won the game. The Eagles had it in front of them and couldn't get it done.
And we talked about at the beginning. It's the same stuff that hampered them all season long was the exact same stuff that happened tonight, except that they got to win the turnover battle and still lose. How exciting!
I mean, but that's the thing is that and I'm going through it. And look, I'll go to the film tomorrow. They didn't show great replays of the past game, and again, like it was more of the same. But I'm looking at the box score. It was like end of the 3rd quarter, and obviously you're right in the midst of like that offensive futility where they couldn't get anything going. And I see like, oh, okay, Saquon Barkley has the longest reception, and it was for 20 yards. It was on that double screen that they ran early in the 2nd quarter. You had AJ Brown had, I believe it was a 10-yarder, and Devontae Smith had like a 15-yarder. They don't have an intermediate passing game. They did not have all season long an intermediate passing game. Not just like middle of the field, but it was either deep ball or quick game.
Yes.
And so, the wind took the deep ball out, and the quick game has been uninspired and inconsistent all season long. So it shouldn't have been a shock that this is where we arrived.
Fran, the only time they gave any receiver a chance for actual yak was when the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage and it was some sort of screen. Otherwise, there's no creativity to get guys open in their routes.
Yeah, and look, yards after catch, it's multifaceted, right? Yards after catch is talent driven, which not a problem.
Nope.
You have plenty of talent offensively. So then you get to two other aspects. It's timing and rhythm in the pass game. So you look at the quarterback, and then it's schematic. And you look at it. It's funny, now that this was the only game on TV, there were a lot of national analysts and X and O types that were chiming in. They're like, all of the, I think it was Brett Coleman, who does some work covering the NFL. It's like, so much of the Eagles offense is hitches and flats. And EJ Quotu was like, yeah, welcome to the 2025 Eagles. And it's like, yeah, those two routes are not conducive to yards after catch.
Yeah.
Right? They can be, you can create yards after catch on a hitch route or on a flat route, but you're running to the sideline or you're running backwards to the quarterback, right? You're face up to the quarterback. So if you're going to get yards after catch on those plays, you either, the timing needs to be perfect or you need something to go wrong with the defense. So when you have so much of the offense built that way, yeah, yards after catch is not going to be.
Kyle Juszczyk was schemed more open than I saw any receiver on the Eagles team this entire season. A fullback.
And that's why, and I get why we're upset about the defense in this game. But, guys, it was more the same with this defense where they're on the field nonstop. You have 4 out of 5 drives in the second half in a row consecutively go for 3 and out. And then, and we'll get into it with the breakdowns, but they're at some point, physically or emotionally, it's going to break. The dam's going to break. And it broke late in the fourth quarter. They're pulling out all the stops. Kyle Shanahan's calling reverse passes for Juwan Jennings to throw a deep ball in the wind to Christian McCaffrey. They're just throwing stuff at the wall, and obviously that one stuck. But that's what they needed in order to put points on the board. This was a race to 20. I said it with Cuz earlier this week. This is gonna be a race to 23. It ended up being a race to 24. And this team was just not up to the challenge.
Fran just looked like one emptied the clip, and then the other one didn't.
And I'll tell you the play that I will remember. And it's not the biggest reason they lost the game, but it is so perfect. They're down 17-16. They're finally moving the ball. It's 8:45 left or so. 2nd and 1. Second and 1 from the 27. You are in striking distance. 2nd and 1. Take a shot. Go score a touchdown here. And instead, it's Saquon Barkley up the middle for 6 yards. Great. Throw a parade. Another first down. And then what? Run on 1st and 10, stuffed, incomplete, and then you get a great 6-yard into Will Shipley on the angle route.
Yep.
Perfect to set up a shorter field goal for the kicker you're terrified to let kick the ball. Take a shot. It's the playoffs. Let them hang. What happened to that?
No, to me, the aggressiveness with this offense, and that's why, and that Week 16 show in that postgame when we sat here and we were talking about they go for 2 when they're up by 3 scores, talking about the aggressiveness and what it means to be aggressive and what it means to be that's not this team, and clearly not this offense. Again, failed to score 20 points against that defense with the highest paid offense in football. Just a bad showing and a bad season on offense.
Fran, apropos of nothing, just out of curiosity, what kind of trade value do you think A.J. Brown has in the NFL?
I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the contract stuff. My guess is you probably are. It's at least a 2, but we'll see what the market shows.
Just thinking out loud. No real reason I asked that.
Fran, he just hugged a couple people and just bounced.
Yeah. There was a reason why I gave them a wide receiver in that mock draft this week. I did not see. I assumed that whenever this playoff run ended, however this playoff run ended, this was probably it for AJ.
What did you make of Sirianni before we get into the breakdown? What did you make of Sirianni and Nick, or Sirianni and AJ there going nose to nose?
What is going on out there?
Sixers must be doing something good.
AJ or Sirianni took off, because
very weird.
Got to it when they were both together, but to see it's actually Nick that initiated and sprinted over 30 yards away. I want to see the next gen stats on that in terms of grounds covered. But it's it was a little bit of I was trying to do some lip reading, but nothing that I felt good about.
He got his Italian up on that one.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense. And the run game, the run defense was, for the most part, awesome in this game.
Awesome.
Christian McCaffrey finishes with 48 yards on 15 carries, 3.2 yards. But at halftime, it was something like 8 for 13 or something like that. And so they did start to bend a little bit. What did you see on the final touchdown drive?
Yeah, I mean, again, it was kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, where you're on the field so much. And, Vinny, I don't know if you ever felt like this way, but I know I've talked with guys in the past, and on either side, offensively or defensively, when, one unit is like carrying it for as long, at some point, like, that dam can break. It doesn't always break, but at some point it can happen. And sometimes it's not like it's not a malicious thing. It's just like it's kind of the war of attrition kind of deal. And late in the game, crunch time, we know how Vic is. Vic wants his guys out there. Like he wants Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Ojimo. He wants the guys up front. He wants the big dogs in there. And if we go to the first clip here, Lindsay, this is run. It's the fourth quarter. And you see they're right just about in the red zone here, and it's going to be a simple inside zone run. And you got Jordan Davis in the game, you got Jalen Phillips, you got Nolan Smith, but the fourth defensive lineman is Byron Young. And if you go to the next shot, Byron Young gets completely unearthed here on this play, uprooted off his spot in the run game. The double team puts him about 6 yards into the linebacker level. Now the offensive line is able to get up to Nakobe Dean's lap, and if we go to the next shot, it's a first down. So the most explosive run they gave up all day to McCaffrey happens here on this play, and then they score. It was 3 plays later. And to me, like this was. And it's funny because I have two plays here on this breakdown, two plays from the defense and one from the offense. But honestly, tangentially, this is all about the offense.
Yeah.
This is go out, sustain drives, give your defense a blow a little bit, control the football, and maybe don't have Byron Young on the field in crunch time. You have those guys available to you, and obviously in that situation, San Francisco was able to get and take advantage of it.
I mean, they were so good. They were awesome. So dominant up front for most of this game, for the first 3 quarters of this game. Jordan Davis was awesome. Jalen Phillips, I thought, had a really good game. The linebackers were good coming forward, but they did leak a couple big plays. I know we're not going to break those down specifically. Is there anything you saw on those 2 big plays, the Demarcus Robinson one on the first possession and then the Jawan Jennings one later on?
Yeah, the Robinson one, we saw the sky cam view of it. And to me, just from seeing the sky cam angle one time, because couldn't find it on social anywhere. By seeing that one time, it looked to me like Quinyon guessed on the route. Like he thought it was going to be a slant, like a quick inbreaker, and it ended up being a skinny post vertical. And so that's why it looked like he undercut that route and then got beat over the top. So I don't think he was expecting that was the route. He tried to guess it. He had 2 picks in the game, so I think some of the guessing was right. He made some good educated guesses on some of those plays. But on that one, obviously he's wrong. Robinson ends up going for the long one. And then we had obviously there was the trick play to McCaffrey. And then there was the one long catch and run with Juwan Jennings. Right?
Yes, on DeJean, yeah.
Yes. I mean, look, it's a really well-designed offense. Like they're going to get theirs. Like and that was the thing was I didn't think that they were going to hold them to 3 points or 7 points or 9 points. Like I figured, all right, like San Francisco, they're going to dial a few things up. That's why you need to get to like 20 points at least in this game.
All right, what did you see on what turned out to be the game-winning touchdown?
Yeah, really well designed here from San Francisco.
Shocking.
And yeah, right. Well, let's just go to because the Eagles take the first read away here. Because honestly, I shouldn't even say like, oh yeah, like this was brilliant from Kyle Shanahan. This is just sound.
Normal stuff.
It's like this is like table stakes. Like to me in the NFL, like table stakes, like just good, sound, pure progression football from Kyle Shanahan on this play. Lindsay, it's CMC first shot, so CMC won. And here on this play, you're going to get obviously they're in the low red zone. It's 3rd and goal, and you've got 2 receivers, Jennings and Robinson, to Purdy's right. That's the way he's going to start here on this play. So he's going to drop back. It's double slants, and Zach Bond jumps this. He reads Purdy the whole way. He's going to get in front of it. The DBs on that side are squatting on those slant routes, taking that away. So the first read is taken away from Brock Purdy here on this play. I think he wants to go to Juwan Jennings on the backside. So that's gone. So now he's got to get his eyes back around. But by the way, and again, like tangentially, Eagles offense related topic here. How often in the quick game do we see the Eagles and Jalen Hurts? He drops back. Oh, the slant got taken away to AJ Brown, or the stick route got taken away. The quick out route to Devontae Smith got taken away. Now it's scramble drill. Well, the reason why is because by the time he gets back over to the other side, those routes got taken away. They've timed out. So now those guys are in scramble drill. So the timing is completely off. This is now bring her back here to this one. Here's why the timing is not off. Christian McCaffrey runs out of the backfield and he releases up through the formation and he runs to the flat. It's a longer developing route. So now when Purdy, if that first read is taken away, if we go to the next shot here, Lindsay, and go one more. So on the next shot, on the what you see here is when Purdy gets his eyes back to the backfield, he's working. McCaffrey hasn't even come out of his break yet to work back towards the middle. And so now he's working one-on-one against Nakobe Dean, which that's a matchup they love. They love getting McCaffrey one-on-one with a linebacker. And McCaffrey is able to beat Nakobe Dean at the top of the route. Again, by the time Purdy gets his eyes back there, he's still within rhythm. He's the timing is still there. We go to the last shot, and it's just CMC catching the touchdown in front of Nakobe. Like Nakobe's going to lose one-on-one to Christian McCaffrey. Like that's not like a crime here. To me that's just representative of good, sound, again, pure progression football where Purdy's like, all right, first read's taken away. I can get back to the backside of this route and trust that I'm still within good time. We don't need to get into scramble drill yet. And they were able to capitalize for a touchdown.
So this is not a direct follow-up to that, but it is a question related to it. I know that you will watch the film, but from first blush, how did you feel about Jalen's timing tonight? Because it did feel like there were a few times, especially, where he fled the pocket a little bit too quickly.
Especially late. It definitely felt that way. And that's what, I'll reserve judgment on a lot of those because they didn't show a lot of great replays tonight of the pass game.
It's only the playoffs.
You've got Tom Brady in the booth, so why do that? But I think that you've got, it's one of those where I'm kind of reserve judgment. Yes, I agree that the timing did not look great throughout the course of the night, but there have been times where that has felt that way leaving a game, and I'm like, that was a really bad Jalen game. Maybe we could have gone a little harder on him in post game, and then there were some where it's like, actually there was just nobody open, and we can get into a glaring example of that with the final play.
Well, let's do it. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, let's go to Lindsay. Let's go final play here. So on this play, and again, recurring themes throughout the course of the season, and this is something we've talked about honestly since like week 2 this year, where one of the ways you can get after this pass game, you can get after Jalen Hurts when it's these high leverage spots, 3rd and long, 4th and long. We're going to bring a bunch of guys up on the line of scrimmage, and here they show a double mug front. You got both linebackers up on the A gap, so you have 6 defenders down the line of scrimmage, and you're making the quarterback think that he's potentially hot, like he's going to have they're going to have to keep everybody in for protection, or he's just going to speed up his process. But they don't actually blitz. They're actually going to drop a couple of these guys out. What the 49ers are playing here on 4th and long is they're playing cover 4. They're playing quarters. If we go to the next shot here, they are dropping 4 deep with 3 underneath defenders. The Eagles call 4 verts on this play. So all 4 receivers are running directly into 4 vertical defenders. This has happened numerous times over the last, even just like the last 5-6 weeks. 3rd and long, 4th and long, where it's typically a 3rd and long, where Jalen Hurts drops back, and it's you're running 4 vertical routes right into quarters, and it's just like, there's nowhere for him to go here on this play. Now, if you think that it's going to be cover 2, if you think that it's going to be cover 3, which that's the thing, is that the Eagles, they've had success running play like this, running these vertical routes in this area of the field against different coverages, against cover 3, against cover 2, where you can kind of play the post safety and kind of read off him. But essentially, if you go to the next shot here, Lindsay, essentially it's which of these middle receivers am I going to go to? If it's going to be if it's going to be cover 3 and it's just one safety deep, he can't cover both routes, right? If it's going to be Tampa 2, all right, well, those safeties are going to be a little bit wider. And so now those guys that are running the middle, Jahan Dotson or Dallas Goedert, you can kind of mess with your route stem a little bit to get those safeties to expand towards the sideline and then create more room for Jalen to loft this over the top. But because it's cover 4, because it's quarters, those guys are tighter to the middle of the field. So those passing lanes are now squeezed down. And when you have a veteran linebacker like Eric Kendricks patrolling the underneath middle of the field, because by the way, like this is a coverage that they major in. This is Robert Saleh's bread and butter. Like this is exactly what they want to play. This is their identity, is that they want to play cover 4. And we're going to play it better than you can attack it. And even when you have a veteran linebacker in there like Kendricks, even though he's still relatively new, he's played countless snaps of cover 4 in his career. And so he's going to drop back, and he gets underneath this route. If we just go to the last shot here, like there's no prayer of this getting open. And now you can get into the idea of like, oh, well, you have A.J. Brown, number 1-on-1 on the outside. You have Devontae Smith, 1-on-1 on the outside. You're calling a play that it's going to come down to either Goedert or Jahan Dotson. He chose Jahan Dotson in a one-on-one matchup earlier in the drive on that fade to the left sideline, and obviously that was completely smothered. A lot to break down from that, but clearly, like, Jalen drops back, there's nowhere for him to go. Like, that plays DOA. That had no shot.
Cool. Love hearing that.
It's very depressing.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a wasted opportunity. This is a team that, and look, we know the offensive line was not the offensive line we expected due to injury, right? All the injuries.
Not just due to injury.
All season long. Yeah. Yeah, right. But in terms of, like, a lot of those guys, like, banged up throughout the course of the season.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to lower the ceiling of the offense a little bit. But it's still, like, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. Like, it was one of the worst offenses in football with extremely high price tags attached to a number of these guys' names. They are better than what this offense looked like over the course of this season. And, I would expect that there's going to be turnover, not just, like, on the sidelines, but I would imagine there's going to be turnover on the field as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, well.
How's the tight end class, Fran, in the draft? How are we looking?
It's a good tight end class. Yeah,
Okay, how's the wide receiver class? How's the offensive line class?
Yeah. I think we all know what the draft picks need to be.
Well, look, for all of our viewers, you can go and check out the Diehard draft guide right now, and it's.
Is there?
great.
I think you can get that $36 a year.
I was gonna say,
deal.
is there like a good sale going on right now, perhaps, where I could get that?
Well, I don't know how much longer it lasts. Do we get it? Do
I'll
people
extend
get
it another
hours
24
after?
hours just so the sickos can dive into the big board of Fran, because this is your life's work, Fran, and
Something
people.
crazy is happening in the Sixers game. Outside. I
Yeah,
don't know.
$3 a month. If you're not a diehard, become one. Fran's big board. We're picking 23 people, so we got to dive into it now. Sign up for the newsletter. Get a diehard sale before it's too late. Fran's draft coverage alone is worth it. So we turn our attention to you, Mr. Duffy.
Well, I'm here hopefully to answer the call. I know I'll be on tomorrow to break down film of this game, and then I'll be watching college guys nonstop for the next.
Doing guys.
This, good for you. Good for you to be freed up.
Look, I can't say that, if I had my choice on watching this offense or watching, a tight end from Missouri, for the first time, that I would definitely have chosen this offense if I had my druthers. But
all right, friend, we love you very much. We will talk to you tomorrow at 2:00 to get a much more in-depth picture at the snappies from this game, and maybe be reacting to some news as well. So thank you very much.
I would sure hope so.
We will take a quick break to hear from some sponsors. Back with much more on the other side, including some video from the locker room before we even make it to EJ.
Uh-oh.
5 years ago. What happened 5 years ago? 5 years ago, the Eagles fired Doug Peterson after an ugly 2020 season. Goes to show you that a lot can change in 5 years. So what if you could lock in a great price on great Wi-Fi and intelligent Wi-Fi for the next 5 years? That's what the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee brings to the table. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense that lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All of your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Who are we kidding, fellas, ladies? Sometimes I hurt myself in my sleep. My shoulder hurts, lower back hurts. Sometimes you get those mystery knee pains or foot pains. Don't live that life. Get in touch with Rothman Orthopedics, because whether it's a sore knee, a stiff shoulder, a nagging back pain, Rothman Orthopedics is here to help you get back to the life you love. Their team of specialists treats all types of orthopedic issues, from everyday strains to long-term joint pain, with care that's efficient, effective, and right here close to home. I recently got away from a ski trip. The entire time I was thinking, don't hurt yourself. But if you do, I got Rothman Orthopedics in the back pocket. So don't let pain keep you sidelined. Schedule an appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. Don't miss out on it.
Back on the PHLY Eagles post-game show presented by Bet365 and Ashley. We're in the Xfinity Lounge lamenting the end of the 2025 Eagles season. If you're just joining us for the first time, it's going to be a long off season. We're going to have shows every single day. Monday to Friday, 2 o'clock, talking birds. Who knows what's going to happen? You don't want to miss it. Maybe you want to miss it for like a couple days to be sad. But after that, you should join us. In the meantime, let's send to the link because we've got audio, Rich Hoffman, and video of Dallas Goedert after what could be his final game as a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah.
What did he think about everything that happened on the field?
Yeah, I think Kevin did a good job putting us in situations we didn't always execute. We put ourselves behind the sticks more often than we should have. We got enough playmakers on this team that we should be able to battle through anything. And looking at the end of the day, being able to win the division, being able to be in the opportunity to go and win a playoff game at the end of the game is kind of what you want in the season. You can never say you were good enough. There's always things that we could be better at. But just looking back at the year, it was a great year.
And how was your year in your mind? You had all those touchdowns. You made history today as a rushing and receiving touchdown. What did you expect coming into the season, and how did it play out for you personally?
Yeah, just like always, I had high expectations for myself, for this team. Really proud of the way we handled adversity as a team. Didn't get it done today, which sucks, but I thought it was a good year with a tough ending.
Good look at EJ doing his job there.
Yeah. That probably is Dallas Goedert's last game.
Well, listen, that's part of the sadness, and I want to ask you about this, Vinny, because you go to work with these guys every single day,
Right.
and when the playoff game is over, a lot of them you may never get to work with again. What is that feeling like?
It sucks. It sucks. You grow a brotherly bond, with some guys you go to battle with, and potentially, contracts, disputes, leads you to a different team, and you just kind of miss that culture you created, especially when you win the championship. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it even hurts even more. So I only can imagine what those guys feel like right now, coming up short especially when a game they should have won. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what hurts even more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to go very quickly down the roster and tell you guys who very well could not be an Eagle after this season. Not the sexiest guy to start with, but just going alphabetically. Jacorian Bennett, likely gone. Reed Blankenship is a free agent. Could have been his last time with the Eagles. A.J. Brown, absolutely could be his last time with the Eagles. Sidney Brown, Grant Calcaterra, Michael Carter. Okay. Britton Covey. Nakobe Dean is a free agent. What an unbelievable season he had, and he is probably not going to be back. A.J. Dillon, Jahan Dotson, Jake Elliott, is he going to be back? Marcus Epps, Dallas Goedert, Brandon Graham, Kylan Granson, okay? Adoree Jackson, Lane Johnson, Fred Johnson, Cam Latu, Tanner McKee, Jalen Phillips is a free agent, Matt Pryor, Keely Ringo, Will Shipley, Tyler Steen, Brett Toth, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Byron Young. These are not all of those guys are the sexiest names, but these are the guys who have been in your daily life as an Eagles fan for, at least the past 9 months. And it's sad that this is the end of the road for a lot of those guys. And that's what makes a playoff loss so frustrating, especially as you said, in a time when you had a chance to really do something extra special.
Yeah, but those are some pieces though. They might not be like the wow, but there was some key pieces in there, especially that we're gonna miss. And hopefully they get something figured out and get some more. Yeah.
All right, back to the super chats. We have Jabel, who just has a nice, generous donation. Joe Sandoval, see a Patullo get Gruden or McDaniel. I don't know about Gruden. but McDaniel could be interesting. Matt B. Weirdly content with this loss. It felt very deserved. Thank you, PHLY crew. Special thanks to Julia and Lindsay. Amen to that. For great coverage all season long. Thank you for entertaining us during an unbelievably frustrating season.
Unfortunately, it did feel deserved.
Absolutely.
Right?
This is the way that they deserve to lose. And again, shame on all of us for thinking it was going to be anything different.
Next week's going to be different, though, Bo.
But also, extra shout out to Ben, our social media maven, Ethan, who's working behind the scenes today. More people today for the playoffs.
Todd picked up some pizza and wings.
Todd got
for
some
the
pizza
people.
and wings and chicken salad for Vinny,
Vinny's locking in.
New year, new Vinny.
That's it.
So thanks everybody for behind the scenes who has helped us out with this season. Brian Backer. Patullo scoring needs to be gone. Too low. You get it?
Got his ass.
And right. For Vinny, if you had the level of talent on defense that the Eagles have on offense, how disappointing is it as a player to know what you have in the hands of someone who's never done it at a pro level? He's saying, would you feel like if you were someone on the offense extra mad at Kevin Patullo in this standpoint to have wasted your talent? I don't think that's how you guys are wired, right?
I mean, it's a team sport. You know, it's one of those dams. You know what I mean?
That's for jabronis like me to yell
You look
about.
inward, right?
Yeah. We've been part of a tight ass loss like this before in the playoffs.
Yes. I think for you, I think
Like
19
twice.
for you because you weren't
Twice.
here in 18, right?
And 19 and when
That's the Seahawks
Saints
one.
too.
Oh, the Saints one.
The
Now that's
Saints,
brutal.
yeah,
That's
that
brutal. Because
shit's
that one was a
crazy.
game
We
where it
had
really
it.
felt like
Bro.
it felt like if you won that game, you could go to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Yeah. M4C20. I agree with Philly Raj. A part of me was thinking as the game was still in the balance, I was thinking, I don't know if I can watch this again.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince. I guess we have to wait until next year for the QB inclusive run game. Can we get an over-under on how many days until we get an OC decision?
I think you got to move quick with the state of the NFL right now.
I don't think you need to be rushed to do it like tomorrow if you.
But if you know it's the decision, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think it could. I mean, you could have something tomorrow. It could also be something that drags on several days.
It has to be an external, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's an internal replacement. Yeah.
They need an outside voice.
Nikki loves music. We see how fast things can turn around with good coaching with Vic. Nick and KP gotta go. Too many good coaches in the league to accept this on offense. Brendan, I'm not sure I've ever seen a team refuse to make any changes to obvious flaws all season. And those same flaws came back to burn them. That's exactly right.
No lies
That's
detected.
exactly the way they played.
Right.
Go Birds. Dear Bo, please give us 30 seconds of internal Jeffrey Lurie monologue once that ball to Dallas hit the ground. You are best equipped to handle this request.
See a cursor, Vinny? No.
Okay. I think
It's Laurie a cursor.
No. When he speak though, you listen, but he's just very competitive. He's not in it to embarrass anybody. You know, so you don't really see him ticked off. You know, he ain't gonna be ticked off in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I think there are a few lines that come to my head, depending on how it all plays out. I mean, one of them is like, okay, at least let me get a tea time in
Boca
Florida
Raton.
next weekend.
Yeah.
Where can I go on vacation? I think there's a part of him that was maybe like, all right, maybe now I can fire the morons. I don't know. He's thinking, God damn it. Like, cause he knows, as he said publicly, which he rarely speaks during the season, said publicly, we have a Super Bowl level defense. And for him to choose his words that carefully, that he knows he has put together a Super Bowl level defense, and the offense is what is letting this team down.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly how he feels about what he saw this season. And I promise you that he is not going to be okay with it.
Good. Shouldn't be.
Whoa, Wulf. Alan Eck, Williamsport native, doing all he can to make sure KP is fired. That's home field advantage at work. Great team effort all around. Julia, did you know that the ref for this game was from Williamsport?
She's got headphones in. She's wired
locked
in.
She's locked in on something else. Alec Williams. So A.J. Brown is clearly done, right? Would release him. He didn't care all year. Smith is a wide receiver 1, and there's better use of cap space than a diva. Obviously, you do not release him.
God, no.
But I
How many
would
turkeys?
I would put
75?
I would put
85?
55 on him being gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought higher from you.
60 maybe.
I don't think he's gone.
Yeah, I don't think it's a done deal.
In my mind, it's like 92 turkeys.
Well, there are other places they could make a change that would make him happier. There are
Would be spicy.
There are also other paths to listen. I think they deserve credit, frankly, for weathering the storm with AJ in the middle of the season, right?
Yeah.
Like it felt like in the middle of the season that this was going to be a dam that broke. Then,
when he was on the
And-
stream, like
Yes.
that was the breaking point.
and I
if it
think
was
they
gonna
deserve
break.
some credit. And if you want to talk about the strengths of Nick Sirianni, that's one of them.
If AJ had his choice and Jeffrey said, I want you here, we'll do whatever. Is that decision in the coaching staff or the guy that receives the hike?
If AJ had his choice,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak for him.
If you had to guess.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think that he has a particular disdain for Nick, but I think he saw the same things on general offense that we all saw, that it was a bad offense. Zane Petney, you got something?
Yeah, I was gonna say when last week I think a lot of people seen it was like kind of the same thing that you saw today, the same exact type of gameplay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. So.
And it was good enough to win last year, so.
This was not the same as last
No,
year.
I know, but I'm just saying that like if he's
feel like
deciding
last
the
year-
coaching,
yeah, but
like
last year they took more off the top. The running game was different.
Yeah, the
scheme.
offensive
the
line
offensive
was
line
better.
was the biggest issue this year. Do Dickerson and Juergens bounce back? Does Mailata bounce back, or is this a regression point? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are reasons, and you know this better than anyone, Vinny, that the toll it takes on your body to go to the Super Bowl, and then you are defending champs, and every week is a grind. Every team is giving you their best shot. Like that wears you down, right? And so I think there is a case to be made that those guys will look fresher and benefit from it. If you assume we're not going to win the Super Bowl, you might as well lose now and get more time.
The coolest thing about the Eagles front office, you ain't got no choice but to bounce back. If not, you're going to bounce out. I
That's
won't
a
be
poor quote right
surprised.
there.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if and at the 23rd pick they don't pick offensive line.
Yes, I would be
Offensive
surprised.
tackle?
Yeah. It's going to be
And
an
there's no
offensive player.
knock on
I've been
anybody.
screaming
just
it for 3 years. But yeah.
Not just that, but you can learn from a Lane Johnson and learn from a Jordan.
Sure.
And just like they was learned into their positions like that. That's one cool thing about the org that actually grooms you up to become a good tackle in this league.
All right, before we get to EJ, we do have to do Vinny's Beef of the Week. Presented by our good friends at Righteous Felon. Tough way to go out, Vinny, but where are you gonna give your beef this week?
I'm going to give my beef to the week to the most consistent defensive player on the Eagles, and that is you, my friend, Jordan Davis.
I agree.
Beefiest of the beef.
Man,
What a season for him.
Yes. Way to leave it all out there. You were snubbed to the Pro Bowl. You were snubbed from being an All-Pro, but you has been so consistent on your approach this offseason, and it showed in season. My man, you are my beef of the week.
Thank God they
Beef
picked,
for the season.
What a season for Jordan Davis.
Thank God they picked up his option, huh?
Yes.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they would probably franchise him, if not sign him to a long-term deal anyway. But yeah, so certainly the right decision, which I was critical of at the time. They were absolutely right. Kudos to Jordan Davis, who had a fantastic season. All right, quick break. On the other side, we're going to send it to the link and bring in the Eagles insider, EJ Smith. Success in sports, business, life, what does it come down to? comes down to working with the right people, having a clear plan, and showing up every day with a purpose. That's exactly how First Trust Bank supports Philadelphia's business owners. As the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles, First Trust understands what it takes to compete and win. So if you are a business owner who's tired of feeling like just another number, First Trust is different. Family owned, deeply rooted in Philadelphia since 1934, and genuinely invested in this city and its business community. First Trust isn't just a bank. They give your business an edge, big enough to deliver real solutions, but personal enough to sit down, listen, and get things done. So learn more at firsttrust.com or call 1-800-220-BANK. First Trust Bank, the official bank of your Philadelphia Eagles.
Whether your team wins or not, there's always a way to win with the BetParx online casino app. You can check out brand new casino games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, a BetParx exclusive. It's the only app I ever use when I'm playing my favorite casino games in the palm of my hand. You can play blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, hot online slots like Cash Eruption and 88 Fortunes and Cleopatra online slots. Play your favorite online slots based on streaming shows like Walking Dead, Squid Game, Breaking Bad, and Peaky Blinders. All of your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action in the palm of your hand. Must be 21 and older and located in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play, you love to win, you bet with BetParx. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we're back on the PHLY Eagles postgame show. Bo Wulf, Super Bowl champion Vinny Curry, Jamie Lynch, and now we head to the Xfinity Mobile call-in line and speak to the man who just spoke to the Eagles in the losing locker room for the final time this season. EJ Smith, let's hear from your notebook.
Let's go straight into it.
Uh-oh, you're muted again!
I'm not muted. I am not muted.
It was Lindsay. Go ahead.
Not muted.
It was not you.
So first and foremost, I figured I should set the scene for the Eagles locker room. We get into the locker room. And Jalen Hurts, a dejected Jalen Hurts, is walking around the locker room with his hands on his hips, shaking his head, as A.J. Brown greets a handful of receivers and tight ends, saying his goodbyes as he walks out of the locker room. He did not speak with reporters. He was dressed by the time that we got in there, made a very quick exit. But yeah, just a really despondent locker room. It felt like it was still setting in, really, honestly, that a lot of the things that had plagued them throughout the season really came back to bite them in this game. Next, I think it's important to update our listeners and viewers that Nick Sirianni said after the game that there will be time to evaluate everything when asked about Kevin Patullo's future as the Eagles offensive coordinator. He did not want to answer anything definitively when it comes to Patullo. A lot of players gave Kevin Patullo a vote of confidence after this game. But yeah, nothing definitive from Nick Sirianni. And then finally, I thought that this quote from Jordan Mailata was really a good encapsulation of what's gone on with the Eagles offense over the course of the season. He just said that it finally just dawned on them that they weren't a good team this year, and I think specifically on offense, I think that rings true that a lot of the issues that, they were maybe a little bit more willing to explain away or say they were close to fixing. He said that they just never really were able to figure those things out. So, those are the things that stood out from the locker room. I definitely have a lot more that we can get into, but yeah, those three things really stood out to me in my notebook here.
All right, well, let's start with Nick. And you have been in a lot of these press conferences. What is your read on, what is coming after the way that he answered that question about Kevin Patullo?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Kevin Patullo is back as offensive coordinator at this point. I don't know if it'll happen quickly, if it will be the type of thing that drags out. But honestly, they're going to need to be active in finding a replacement if they do decide to move on from him. And I think it's hard to envision a scenario in which you could talk yourself into him coming back. I think that argument probably starts with continuity and the value that might have to Jalen Hurts. But I do think that when you look at the way the Eagles offense performed, I think I think the one thing I want to say is that it doesn't seem like it's going to be quite that simple. If it's a different offensive coordinator next season, I think there's still a lot of components and, a lot of the main characters on this offense that will make it a tough needle to thread. But I do think when you look at it, this is the easiest lever to pull. and I think it makes sense that they would do that.
Does anybody in the organization have ties to Brian Dable?
Yes, Nick Sirianni does. Jalen Hurts does.
Yeah.
So they definitely
Interesting.
have those touch points if they want them. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about the locker room, EJ. What was the mood from guys? And when you hear someone say we weren't a very good team, what do you take from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was an emotional locker room. I think that was what stood out most. Dallas Goedert was very clearly emotional after the game, as was Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert said when he caught that pass on that fourth down late in the game, he was convinced that they were going to win the game. So he was a little shell-shocked afterward. Didn't want to talk too much about his future. I think we'll get that later, or, honestly, early next week. But, Devontae Smith, you could just kind of see it in his face, like the pain of losing. This is a guy who's obviously incredibly competitive, has won a lot in his career, and you could really see it, like I said, kind of written all over his face as he answered questions, the frustration that was kind of readily apparent there. So, an emotional locker room. We heard from Landon Dickerson. I thought what he said was one of the more eyebrow-raising things, talking about his health. He said he played through a lot this season. And, I asked him, Landon is a guy who has played through a lot of injuries in his career. He's played through torn ACL, come back from torn ACLs, serious ankle injuries. He obviously, he's had the meniscus all this year, played through injury last year as well. I asked him how this season compared, and he said, are we in overtime? Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay. He said it was shitty, and then he was very terse about it. The thing that was concerning to me was, him saying he's not sure if he's going to make a full recovery this offseason. Asked about if he was confident that he'd be able to return to that level of play. He said, if I knew that answer, I'd feel a whole lot better. So definitely, some long-term concern there. This is a guy who's dealt with a lot of injury, and I don't know. Maybe it's like him being a realist, but it did stand out to me that because he's been somebody who's played through and made it back from some serious injuries in the past.
Was he asked whether he feels like in retrospect time off would have done him good?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
I think that'll be a good question for locker room clean out. He was pretty short on everything today, though. So, he said that he felt like he really let his team down this season with the way that he played. But I think, again, it's pretty understandable from an outsider's perspective what he had to go through to play this season.
What did you make of the AJ situation?
Yeah, no, listen, AJ not talking after the game. He's not doing himself any favors in this, with the way that the game went. Obviously, had the costly drop on third down. Thought there was some, sorry, Vinny, to bring this up, but there was some irony in Alshon Jeffrey being in attendance for that drop. But obviously, Dallas Goedert kind of bails him out the next play there. But no, we didn't hear from AJ. Nick said that they're both emotional. It was just an emotional moment on the sideline. Nick said that they've been through every emotion possible together, right? Happiness, sadness, screaming at each other. But it's definitely, depending on how this offseason goes, that exchange could be part of the lasting image of, what could be AJ's last season with the Eagles.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, wow. No, it's just crazy it's crazy and not crazy that we found ourselves here. Because in one vein, it's obviously the most expensive offense in the NFL. You look at the talent that they have. It shouldn't have been this hard for this group. We said it all season. It never should have been this difficult for them to string together drives and put up points, But at the same time, Jordan Mailata said afterward, like he's tired of saying the same thing. Since he felt like he said the same thing every week because the issues that plagued them in this game were the issues that plagued them in week 9 and week 11 and week 14 and week 18, or not week 18, week 17.
Preach.
So these have been issues. Jalen Hurts said in October, some things don't get you until they get you. And it got the Eagles offense today. The issues that we saw all season really caught up to them. And I think that, you saw them coming to grips with that after the game.
One of those issues, which plagued them all season, was an inability to get plays in on time. They had to waste a timeout on fourth down before the final offensive play of the game. EJ, what did Nick say about that?
Yeah, so he said that was about setting up a good play. That wasn't, trying to avoid a delay of game penalty. It was about getting a look against that 49ers defense. And I guess I would say, the heat of coming out of the locker room, hearing from people, I'll be curious to hear what you guys say. I sort of understand the logic of, this is probably your best chance to win the game. But at the same time, it obviously costs them a chance to get the ball back. I think in the context of what the Eagles offenses look like, getting the ball back with potentially 20 seconds, whatever it would have been, probably not a high percentage chance. But that was his explanation. It wasn't to avoid a penalty. It was because they wanted to get a look and see what the 49ers were in defensively.
Yeah, I think it was a bad move, but I think it was not the worst move they made on that drive. I thought it was. It was just. And as Fran pointed out, like a season of wasting chances to run a 2-minute drill.
Yep.
Came back to bite them. They didn't know what they were doing when they got down there.
Absolutely. No, and Nick said after the game, just piggybacking off of like things that we've seen from them all year. Nick said after the game he didn't feel like they were conservative in the second half. I mean, maybe the word isn't conservative, but you see some of these decisions to run on second and long.
So many second down runs. Unbelievable.
And first down runs. Jordan Mailata said just a few minutes ago, like the 49ers started to really key in on the Eagles run game. They started rolling a safety into the box, committing bodies into the run game. And it's like, I understand that these guys say it's an execution issue, but at the same time, at some point, the predictability on early downs, the obsession with being on schedule that we've heard from Kevin Patullo all season, that caught up to them today, because of the fact that teams can key in, on what the Eagles do, especially in those first down runs and some of those second and long situations where they're just not aggressive. So again, it's a philosophical thing, and I think that something we'll unpack in the coming weeks is whether or not like a change at offensive coordinator changes the fact that you've got a head coach and a quarterback who are wired that way. But I do think, again, like these are things we talked about all season. It is confounding that they weren't able to fix them. Here's
a quick little stat for you on that front. On first and second down in this game, in the first 3 quarters, so before they had a chance, they really had to pass. First 3 quarters, first and second down, they ran the ball 60% of the time. That's the second highest rate of the season for them, besides the Raiders game, which they won 31-0. That's how they approached this game.
It's funny because in the first quarter, when they got the run game going, I thought, is this going to be a curse at the end of the game or in the second half of the game if they start to struggle? Because of the fact that it felt like they were really committed to what they got going in the first half. And, it's stuff we talked about all year. It's feel for a game. It's kind of reading a situation out. They didn't do a good enough job with that. So, no, I think they need to make changes on the coaching staff, but I also think, honestly, I think they need to look hard at the offensive line and probably have to make some tough decisions on guys, because I think that if you're going to move forward with Nick Sirianni and Jalen, which I think you do, you have to have a dominant offensive line to make it work. Philosophically, we saw what it looks like when you don't have that high-level play up front.
Any other plays in particular from this game, EJ, that will live with you as the season heads to the offseason?
It's a good question. None jump out to me. I'm sure if I look through my notes, I've got plays in bold. I guess really the thing that stood out to me the most is after Quinyon Mitchell's first interception, the fact that they weren't able to capitalize on that.
Unbelievable.
3 and out.
Next time, yeah, 3 and out after that. And then the second one to only get 3 points out of it. And what was it, like a 10-play, 23-yard drive or something like that?
Yeah.
To get in the field goal range. Yeah. So I think those two, because especially Nick Sirianni harps so much on winning the turnover battle and, how that determines what the Eagles' record is in those games. But you saw that only works if you're capitalizing on those turnovers, if you're aggressive off of those turnovers, and the Eagles clearly weren't. So, it's like, to me, that stands out the most. I know there will be other plays, but for me, like, I think that the fact that they weren't an opportunistic offense, they really weren't, go back to what Jordan Mailata said, they weren't a good offense this year. They weren't a good group. And it's just confounding when you look at the amount of talent that they had.
The one that's going to kill me, EJ, was the Cam Jurgens penalty after the big Jalen Hurts run, because it just seemed like they were about to walk into the end zone there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't get a great look, or I didn't get a good replay on the Jumbotron of that holding call, but I mean, they had a lot of players talked about penalties after the game, but a lot of offenses go through penalties. It feels like there's just something about this group that when they do get behind the sticks, they just put their heads down or they tuck tail and they just they wave the white flag in a way that it defies the players that they have.
And when you pound your chest about attention to detail as one of your, carrying factors, I'm sorry. They've been bad at attention to detail all season long. They've had terrible penalties that have waylaid them. They've had bad decision making. They've been really bad in game management stuff. I'm sorry, just because you say it doesn't make it true.
Yeah, no, I mean, there were definitely a handful of instances tonight where I'm thinking, I wonder what Jeffrey Lurie must be thinking, watching this unfold, some of the decision making. And that's another part of like players will say it's execution. Because again, players are really defensive of Kevin Patullo tonight, and I understand why. But at some point, like a lack of execution could be on the coaching staff as well. At some point, it's like, were you drilling this during the week? Because we've seen these guys play at a high level. I don't know if it's as easy to say like they just stopped playing at a high level. I think it's bigger than that.
And again, I said this before, EJ, but it's not this. I don't believe that this is all Kevin Patullo's fault, obviously. But I do think at this point it would be cruel to Kevin Patullo to keep him here in the same position. Yeah,
no, I think that's fair. I mean, he has been the antagonist for a lot of fans and been under a lot of scrutiny. And I want to make it clear for like our viewers, like, I cover the guy every week, and he's not a bad guy. He's a nice guy.
I like him.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's I agree with you. I think that some of the criticism this season has been out of hand, but obviously the thing that happened with his house, people throwing eggs at his house, like that stuff is obviously, it's obviously terrible, right? And it's, but I do think at the end of a season like this, it's about accountability and it's about figuring out how they fix it. And I do think that he's part of how they fix it.
All right, EJ. Before I ask you what you're going to write about, what is your sort of epitaph on the 2025 Eagles season? How will you remember this group?
I'm going to remember this group for a lot of what we just spent 10 minutes talking about. It's like sometimes I feel bad when I come on with you guys because it's like, man, I really talked to most of the offensive guys. I didn't hear from the defensive guys quite as much, but it's like we spent months trying to make sense of what was going on with that side of the ball. And I think that, when I look back at this season, it's going to be a wasted year because of that group. The Eagles defense played at such a high level, even tonight. Like, obviously they had some shaky moments, but they really tried to will this team over the finish line in the same way that they did for most of the second half of the year. But at some point, that Eagles offense, the issues that plagued them, the issues that they could not figure out, I think that's really what's going to stand out for me looking back on this year. So, again, they got to get it fixed because I still think they're going to have a lot of talent in the short to medium term here. But I don't know. It's going to be a difficult fix, in my opinion, to get this offense back on track.
EJ, I asked Bo, how many turkeys are you putting on AJ Brown wearing a different uniform next year?
Yeah, honestly, probably I think I said 65 before we went in the locker room. I think I'd keep it around 65. I don't want to overreact to AJ saying his goodbyes and leaving hastily out of the locker room, but I just think that, the way that this season has gone for him, I remember having a conversation with him mid-season where he said I'm starting not to care anymore. I think I don't know. It might be a natural time for both sides to benefit from, a divorce here. And it's crazy to say that, he's a great player and the Eagles are not usually in the business of trading a great player like that. But, with the way that this year went, I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to leave. And, I think the Eagles might need to reimagine what they are offensively anyway.
All right, if you are with us this deep into the PHLY Eagles postgame show, a reminder that we are live every weekday at 2 o'clock talking birds. There's obviously going to be a lot to talk about over the next week, over the next coming months, but you should also become a diehard, and now is the best chance to do it. You can get a deal for $36 for the whole year to read E.J. Smith's coverage of the Eagles, the coverage from the guys on the Sixers and the Flyers. You also get access to Fran Duffy's draft guide, which is unbelievable. Detailed reports on everybody in the draft as we turn our attention there. But
oh man, draft season
tomorrow morning, you'll be able to read E.J. Smith writing about this game. What will we be able to read?
Trying to make sense of how the Eagles season ended here. I think that it happened fast. Like you talking about draft season, just like I can't believe that we are officially in draft season. And obviously we've got probably some news to sort out over the next couple of days, but. No, I think it's just going to be about, how the Eagles got here and where do they go from here. So,
all right, EJ, thank you so much for joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. See you on the show tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
See you, EJ.
Great job this year, EJ. Okay. We've got a bunch more super chats to get to.
Dan Orlovsky just tweeted, man, this Eagles offensive game tape is bad, but it's not all on the coaching.
Okay. There you go.
Just an observation from a film grinder.
We've also got more sound from the locker room to bring you guys. So let's do Jordan Mailata. Let's start with that, and then we'll get to some super chats. We've also got Jordan Davis and Reed Blankenship coming your way, but let's hear from the left tackle first.
I think right now, just as a player, it's the same story. Early penalties, shooting ourselves in the foot, then execution of crucial downs. And you guys, whether it be me or someone else, just one block away. Same story every week, but it's pretty much I'll sum it up just from get-go, just from the onset.
How frustrating is that, though?
That's
It's
super
kind of
frustrating.
the same thing.
Super frustrating. There's no other way to put it. So.
All right, we got to take a quick break here. Our last break.
Rich Hoffman, Bulldog in
PHLY.
there, getting the good up front spot there with Jordan.
He's doing a great job. Handsome Rich. PHLY Eagles postgame show. Coming back on the other side, your super chats, more sound from the locker room, and we'll see if we can all survive another segment. We do not pick favorites here among our loyal sponsors. But if I did have to pick one, I think it would be Bucci. I'll tell you why. Because we all know the feeling. You walk into a jewelry store trying to pick out something for your partner, and suddenly you're in over your head. You're thinking, what's the difference between all these diamonds? And what if they don't like it? What am I doing here? It can be stressful. Not at Bucci. Not with Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design, because they are a game changer. They make the whole process seamless from the minute you walk in. They treat you like family. No pressure, no pushy sales vibe, just good people who love what they do. And the end result is something you're proud to give that the person you're giving it to will never forget. 30 plus years in the game, voted Philly's #1 jeweler year after year, and over 1,000 5-star reviews. That all speaks for itself. Check them out today at BucciJewelers.com and tell them the guys at PHLY sent you. Bucci, the place to go.
Elkin Chevrolet, run by 3 brothers, real brothers, local guys, and of course, huge Birds fans. Of course, they live and die the Birds over at Elkin Chevrolet. And if this season has taught us anything, it's good teams show up when it matters most. And right now, Elkin Chevrolet is showing up for you, making sure you get a great deal, one that really matters. They've got a huge inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs, everything people actually want to drive. And the prices, well, they're going to move fast. And if you've been thinking about it, now's the time to move, whether it's getting to the game, hitting the road, or just getting to work every day. Elkin Chevrolet is going to get you in a perfect car at the perfect price. And here's the thing. This isn't a one-time shop. This is the guys you're going to go back to because they treat you right. No runaround, no fluff. Elkin Chevrolet, just people, real brothers, Route 73 South in Marlton. Together, let's drive.
Back on the PHLY Eagles postgame show, the Eagles fall at home to the San Francisco 49ers, 23-19. I'll tell you what, that Niners team is really hateable. It is disappointing that they were able to come in and get the win. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like the fake toughness pregame.
Yeah, now you got to hear Kyle Shanahan, offensive genius.
Robert Saleh, Vinny. I mean, oof. Kyle Shanahan. Oof. Tough team to lose
I think
to.
it stings a little bit, guys, because we actually had that shit. I mean, we actually had that game won.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought they were the better team for the majority of the
kidding
game.
me?
Yeah.
now, it's like one of those bad breakups that you don't want to happen. Come on, man.
You want some defensive snap counts?
Oh, boy.
Please. Favorite part of the show?
Yeah, I need to.
Only 58 plays, according to True Media, for the defense. All
That's
of them
it?
by Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, N'Kobe Dean, and Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell. 57 from Marcus Epps and Jalen Carter. So Jalen Carter played all but one snap of this game. Jalen Phillips, 51. Moro Ojimo, 38. Adoree Jackson, 36, because they were in base a good amount. Jordan Davis, 29. 28 for Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. 11 for Byron Young. 7 for BG. 3 for Michael Carter, who had a specialized role of being like the man coverage guy on third down a couple times. And then 1 each for Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, and Jahad Campbell. Must have been at the end of the game.
It felt like a whole lot more than 58.
Yeah, I think most of them were in the second half.
Man. What a crap game.
Some super chats. And again, we have Reed Blankenship and Jordan Davis video coming your way here. Zane Penny is back. He says, if we get a new head coach and new OC, would AJ not stay? He also says, with the team that we have, anyone would have the best record. Nick isn't anything special. I think that is a little unfair to Nick. I think Nick should be proud of his accomplishments. But the question is not, did Nick do a good job over the past 4 years? The question is Nick the best guy for the team now? And that's the thing that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have to answer.
I'm going to be fascinated by this OC search. I mean, it's a definite. Like,
I think it would be hard.
I don't see any scenario where Kevin Patullo is back.
Human dialogue. They were in perfect
play.
position to repeat. Elite defense, healthy team, and unproven competition in the playoffs. Will never forgive Nick for that hire. Corey Cito. AJ pulled an Alshon with Alshon in the building.
Yeah.
I think that's unfair to Alshon.
Yeah, that is unfair to Alshon, actually.
You don't know if you were definitely going to win that game. Sam G. Does Jalen get off easy due to the poor coaching and play calling? He didn't look good tonight or most of the season. I mean, I agree that this was probably Jalen's worst season since 2021.
I did see a stat, Bo,
It's
that
funny that you're saying that it's probably his worst season, but he's not really throwing the ball that much.
That's true.
Yo.
And I think those things go hand in hand.
Yeah. Because when he start cooking, he start cooking.
Yeah.
there's a stat
I
going
think
around
moving
about
forward,
the
they
drops.
need to trust him more.
I think they had four or three third down drops today, more than they had all season on third down.
Yeah, I think some of those are. I mean, they're counting the AJ one down the sideline, which is, I guess, technically a drop.
It's a play he kind of makes more often than not.
Right.
I would say.
There's the Devontae one, which I don't know if I would count that as a drop either.
The AJ one.
The AJ one was definitely a drop.
That was
the one over
yeah.
the middle. That was definitely a drop. Saquon had a drop, remember, on a little swing pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, we got more super chats, but let's go back to the locker room. Let's do Reed Blankenship, our compatriot here at PHLY, who may have played his last game as an Eagle because he is scheduled to be a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough going out like this. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I love these dudes, and I wish them the best.
Reed, when it ends so abruptly, how hard is that when you look around this room and see you guys hugging everyone, all your teammates, knowing this really most likely won't stay the same completely?
Yeah, like I said, this is one of the toughest things about football and about life. Like, you go through the challenges throughout the year, training camp, whatever. You create these relationships, these bonds, and it ends so fast, and you're not really prepared for it. It's tough. It sucks. But, that's football. That's life. Just gotta learn from this and grow from it.
What happened? What was your interpretation of the holding penalty?
Yeah, I should have never, held him. I thought it was pretty late. But at the end of the day, I just got to be better at doing that and be better at my job.
You guys all year long have been really successful in limiting explosives and red zone defense. Obviously, those two things work so good today. What you see there?
Yeah, they just made more plays than we did. We knew it was going to be a challenge coming in here, and congrats to them for making the plays and taking the opportunities.
Could you take me through the double reverse touchdown?
Yeah, we knew that. They'd like to do some sort of trickery down in the red zone, and we're just in a different call that that allowed them just to sneak through. When things start going, which way in front of you is stuff, you just gotta find your man. You gotta be better. You gotta play with our eyes, and just take that play away.
All right, back in the PHLY Eagles post-game show, and I would say one thing that we hope you get out of us here is the community. And it's nice to be able to go through the loss like this with other people feeling the same way. So I want to shout out a very generous super chat from our friend Grace Min, who says, "This year felt like the thing sports movies are made of. Maybe I'm clouded by the fact that you guys put such a human voice and narrative into this thing we all love called football. Love all the PHLY crew. We all we need. Vinny, your haircut is fly.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Grace.
that's awesome, Grace.
We love you guys too.
Happy to watch such a devastating loss alongside many of you today, and to be here to react with you. It's why we do it. You know, we're in this together, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes you want to puke on set. And today's one of those days I just want to vomit everywhere because of the Eagles' offense. But a community like this helps us get through it together.
Vinny, how'd you feel about Jalen going with we all we need?
I loved it, man. I was hoping to bring us some luck, man, but it would have been I would have been going crazy on. I'm not gonna lie. I already had what I was going. I was gonna open it up once we won this game.
What a
but
waste!
It sucks,
Oh man.
It
Super
sucks.
chat from Go Phillies, who says Jalen stunk this year. Joseph Lynch says, let's eulogize this season like a samurai would in haiku. Kevin Patullo will not last long with the Birds. Eagles offense stunk.
You know, I have to say, this could be a Cousin Joe, because I've been recently diving into some family history and the family tree. I've been going deep. Turns out there's some Joseph Lynches in the family tree that we have not met or like in the Philadelphia area.
Cousin Joe.
So it could be Cousin Joe.
Cousin Joe has another generous
Cousin
super chat.
Joe.
He says,
Cousin
thanks
Joe.
PHLY crew for a great season of coverage.
Cousin Joe.
Cousin Joe.
Yeah.
Cousin Joe. Cousin Joe. The Flyers man says, if Howie and Lurie hired Sirianni to be a puppet for them, Sirianni followed their example in hiring someone to be his puppet. Funny how that works out. Slophead go Birds. Let me be frank.
Slophead go Birds.
This O was a whack and a stank.
Stank tank.
Yeah, this is some Doughboys terminology there. Slophead go Birds. E-American. Can we stop calling it Sirianni's record and start saying it's the player's record? Can't wait to be told about the intricacies I cannot understand. Well, here's the thing you need to know, E-American. There's more to being a coach than just the players. It's about the culture you create. All that stuff. Okay.
Flowers and watering.
Beer Drinker 92. Rumpelmans isn't helping me with this pain. Send AJ to the Pats. He's a bum. Cries till he gets his 1,000 and then doesn't catch a ball. I hope Patullo leaves football altogether. He's a crumb bum.
Crumb bum's a great Philadelphia slang.
Brendan Martin, do you think AJ will be here next year?
It does feel like the Pats is likely. He wants to be
I
there.
don't think you don't think good guy Stefan Diggs is going to stick
He's
around?
definitely
Ooh.
sticking around there. Like,
Better football player than Guy.
Corey Cito scored 16.5 points per game in the last 2 games against Salah.
Robert Saleh.
Vinny, no comment.
I mean, tonight I think it just solidified that Tyler will be a head coach somewhere.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude man. Turkeys, we lose AJ and Dallas. 45.
Dude man. I'm up at like 90% for that
On
one.
both?
Well, that's the combination of both of them is what I'm putting it down to 45. I think it's close. Dylan, this is the problem of the just win mentality of Sirianni. We had obvious problems all season long, but couldn't make changes because we were winning. Amen. This is why you harp on process over results. It is why a lot of the season was spent with disconnect between the people who are talking about the team and the insularity inside. Because we're winning. We don't have to fix anything. No, when it's on the line and you're doing the same things you've been doing all season long, it's going to bite you, and it bit them. I mean, the run first mentality, the lack of aggression, the not leaning into the strengths of your players, the focus on just being conservative, all of that stuff came back to bite them today.
You want another Dan
It stinks.
Orlovsky tweet that speaks to that?
Sure.
Philly ran 10 plays on its final offensive series. They ran the same exact play / copied a previous play from that drive on 4 different occasions. So 4 of the 10 plays were just
Plays
complete,
that had already been called.
unoriginal, just slop with the game and the season on the line.
Yeah.
you just repeat yourself 4 out of 10 plays. Disgusting. You should be embarrassed.
Mike Paccioni with a nice generous
Hey, it's my friend
donation.
Mike from Oregon. What up, Mike?
Mike Dinkelberg. It breaks my heart that this was likely A.J. Brown's last game as an Eagle, and his time in Philly will be remembered by many fans by his relationship with Hurts, a live stream with Janky Rondo, and drops against the Chargers and Niners. I do think that this is a case where, with a little bit of distance, we'll feel better and appreciate that this is the team that won the Super Bowl last year. But right now, it's okay to.
I mean, last year certainly helps. Like, I'd be in a much worse place if February didn't happen. So, like, that is a nice pillow to go lay down on at night. But yeah, this one sucks.
Dude Man wants to know how Lindsay is spelled. It is with an A-Y.
Yes,
just so you know.
she is A-Y.
Need a graphic for Lindsay time regardless. Also, Julia is a boss. Damn right. LB. Nick can't play call, scheme, implement an overall offensive philosophy, game manage, hire, or control his emotions. What does he bring to the table?
Tommy cannot catch the ball himself, too?
All right, let's go to Jordan Davis in the locker room with some perspective on his breakout season and a great year for the defense. We'll come back with some more super chats, any final thoughts we've got, and then we'll let you wallow away.
Yeah, coming in here, I'm just seeing the guys, obviously nobody plans for stuff like this, but I think it was important for everybody to know how much that I love them, how much that we love the program, the organization, the bond that we built this year. We had our ups and downs, but family's life. And, we became better because of it. And not only just knowing that the guys in this room, but just knowing that the team will be the same going forward next year. And I think that's what hurts the most is that, it's going to be some faces that we won't see. And that's just the unfortunate way that we had to end out. We always want to make sure that we reach the highest highs and reach the highest peak. But, when you fall short like this, it's important to know that, no matter where we go, the things that we learned this year, the lessons that we learned this year, the love that we shared, it's invaluable. So, emotionally wise, everybody's feeling it. I'm sure, when we watch the film, everybody's going to have a different emotion, just feeling the regret. And unfortunately, it's just the way it shakes.
It seems like every game the Seahawks defense gave this team a chance to win. How much are you proud of this unit this year?
So proud. So proud. And I think that's one thing that, I choose to focus on. Just the guys, the mentality, the way that we work, the love that we played, the joy that we shared, making practice, meetings, everything. It was a joy to be in the field. It was a joy to be a part of the defense. And I'm just glad that I had just the opportunity to just witness it, to be a part of it. And I think it's just something that we have to keep the torch going into the next year. Everybody who's part of it understands, especially the ones that won it last year, understands how much and what it takes. And I think that's just motivating us to go into next year and hit the ground running, starting hot, finishing hotter.
All right, back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Great year for Jordan Davis. He should be proud of the defense that they had this season. Unfortunately, not enough.
Sharp glasses.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. Alec Williams. I think T.O. will be thought of more highly than A.J. Brown in 20 years. Maybe just an emotional take, but he delivered in the Super Bowl, and A.J. never really had a playoff moment and was awful today. I think I disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
AJ's got jewelry.
Yeah, 2 Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think AJ can be very proud of the
Eagles' career.
4 seasons that he had here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's probably not going to last longer.
Brandon Ekstrom.
That 4 years went by fast.
It did, didn't it?
Damn.
I just remember I was in Vegas because it was the draft out in Vegas when the trade went down. And talk about a state of shock and euphoria. Wow. Nobody really saw that one coming.
Brandon Ekstrom. Nick getting in AJ's face is the last straw for me. After a mistake, sure, chew him out. But trying hard on a difficult play and doesn't get it? Go talk him up. Type of dude to join ICE. I'm all out until he's fired.
Damn.
That was too far.
He ran.
Like, that was not very coach-like.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I'm hoping he went to go yell at the refs.
That's what I would have thought.
But like, if he ran to go get in AJ's face about something, that's a horrible look.
Yeah, I mean if that's what it is,
we need to Zapruder
my
this.
thought is it would be something like Nick has talked to AJ about not calling for PI more. Like we've talked about this. AJ
he does not
fights
fight
through
it.
it, and he doesn't ask for a flag, which I think is to his credit. But
yeah,
there are times when he could probably lean into that more and probably would earn a call. And so if that's something that he has tried to coach him up on, and he didn't do it on that play, and he's all fired up about it.
Yeah,
it's not the way that he should handle it.
No,
but that's possible.
Sure, that would make sense. I mean, AJ's so good. The only way to stop him, Vinny, as you said, is kind of like PI him sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's so good that
Like the Hacker Shack. Remember the Hacker Shack?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that it was at first a misunderstanding, and then they're both just two dogs going at each other.
But they were nose to nose.
Yeah.
Like, that was not a good look.
Yeah, and
shout out to Big Dom for getting in between that.
A couple catches, too. Brendan Ekstrom. Howie works so hard creating an amazing roster, then hands it over to a rookie play caller. Blew my mind when it happened and blew the whole season. Kyle Rem. How can Howie and Jeff be one of the most aggressive duos and Nick is one of the most conservative coaches? That doesn't mesh at all. I think that is a real conversation.
He is regressed in his aggression, right?
Yes, no doubt.
Like, he used to be more aggressive.
No doubt.
That change needs to be studied.
Brendan Martin, do y'all think Juergens should be cut? He's been awful this year. I think
he's had a bad year, but
I think
cut.
the contract makes that impossible. Big AD snapping the ball with less than 5 seconds on the clock. Terrible. It's funny because I thought in the first 3 quarters of this game they were doing a better job of getting to the line, and sometimes it was still clicking down, but it was like they were actually able to be at the line and let all the moving parts happen. And then push come to shove, they were doing the exact same thing again.
I felt like in the first half, it was a lot of audible going on. Second half, it was not too much communication. And that's when it got back to the 2 seconds.
To Fran's point about they just, after the opening script, they were lost.
Yes.
Yeah. And Shelton with a nice, generous super chat.
Shelton.
Appreciate that. All right, guys. We're at the end of the road.
Is this the end
of the road? Girl, I can't let go.
I know one thing. They better make a splash in that draft, but the draft being in Pennsylvania.
I belong to
23rd in Pittsburgh.
I belong to
You need the Fran Duffy draft guide. Now we turn our attention. Uh-oh. You queued up Bo to sing, Vinny. You didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, you know what it is. AJ, please don't go. No.
Something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. I don't know. Oh, Vinny, what a year.
What a year. What a year.
So much change is coming.
That's for sure.
What a bummer.
I mean, make a move quick. Get in this OC hunt. Go get somebody qualified. Don't waste any time. We all know what the move is. Who are we kidding? It's happening. Just do it quick and go get somebody good and competent.
What are your final thoughts, Vinny?
Final thoughts is game of inches. We was there. Now it's time to regroup, take a deep breath. And we got to, the front office is going to make a splashes off season, a couple splashes.
They always do.
I ain't gonna say a splash, a couple splashes this off season, and then this time next year we're gonna be high fiving. That's the way it is. What was it? Missed. Got wild card. We lost Super Bowl.
Yeah,
got a little pattern going on here.
That means Super Bowl run next year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's keep this
every other year.
Yeah, so
I can live with that agreement.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. What a season. The Eagles, a fun year at times.
At times.
A very enjoyable defense to watch, a very frustrating offense to watch all season long. We thank you for being with us at any point over the course of the season. Make sure that you join us for the long off season. We'll have you covered from every angle. Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Ethan, also known as intern. Thank you, Ben. Thanks, everybody else. Yeah, he finally got his own Slack. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand.
I think he's got an email too with
He's
it.
got his own name.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Jamie. Thank everybody else who helped us out all season long. We will talk to you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Eagles locker room cleanout is probably tomorrow, so we'll have lots of news from that. Covered on all angles. But that'll do it for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles.
And become a diehard.
They lose 23-19.
We're picking 23rd now. You need Fran Duffy's draft guide. Just become a diehard.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like less than a cup of coffee a month.
What are you doing?
You need it. We're drafting 23rd. Tight end, wide receiver, offensive line. We all know the picks. Now learn the players.
Thank you, everybody. As always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.